Okay. Hello. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? This is Frank Shin here with REIClub.com. Coming to you live with a handsome Than Merrill. You can see him right there.
Oh
Than
man, handsome. That's amazing. I love starting webinars off with that. I don't get that at home from my wife. So Frank, I appreciate it.
I start with flattery first, you know what I mean? And then I put you in the hot seat. That's how I do it. I got to warm you up first. Real quick, guys, we're starting off a little bit early. This is going to allow a few people to kind of get in here, our little late stragglers. I appreciate you those, the 65 people here right now to be on time. I appreciate that. I'm coming to you live from Houston, Texas, and Central. I think, Than, you're out in what, California? Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sitting in San Diego right now. So we got a cold day out here, Frank. It's never cold in San Diego, but today it's a little chilly.
So chilly is like what, like 60, 65, something like that?
It's like 60 today. We got cooked out when it dips below 60.
I hear you. I'm in Houston, and I think our chilly day is anything less than 60 degrees. It's like if it rains, people in Texas don't know how to drive. If it's cold, people dress up in sweaters. We can tell who's from the north, who's wearing short sleeves and shorts when it's like 40 degrees outside. We're like, you're insane. But San Diego, oh man, I love it. I love it out there.
Yeah, it's you can't beat it. You definitely can't beat it.
Well, okay. I see that people are still logging in. Awesome. Hey, if you guys are tuning in right now, go ahead in the chat box. First of all, I would hate for you to be here if you can't even hear us. So just go ahead and let us know that we're coming through loud and clear. 2, we'd love to know where you're coming in from. If you're in San Diego here, let us know. If you're from Houston or the Texas, let us know. We'd love to know where you're tuning in from. I know we have unemployables that are tuning in from out of the country. We got people from Australia. We got so many people in Dubai, all over the place. People coming in the mornings and the evenings. So I love the support here. So just let us know in the chat where you're coming in from. Let's see here. Oh, I see. I'm still learning how to use GoToWebinar at times, Than. Huntington Beach, we got from Kathy. Awesome. Loud and clear from John and Krista. Hank from San Diego. Right on. Hank, welcome. Okay, cool.
Got some Huntington Beach, nice. All right, we got people from all over. This is good.
From the rainy Northwest Washington. Okay. I was recently in Seattle. I love Seattle. Let's see, by the way, it's 30 degrees here. Okay. Where is that at, Chris? That is in Indiana. All right. My brother's out in Chicago, and he was showing me a snow day with my nephews. And I'm like, wow, it's 75 degrees here in Houston. It's snowing over there. That's insane. Okay. Well, we're at the top of the hour. We're going to go ahead and let people more in, but I think what we're going to do is dive right on in today. You know, the guy that we have here really needs no introduction, but it's one of those things that I just love to do before we kind of pass over the proverbial microphone to the man of the hour. But if you are here now, you might recognize this gentleman here. He's been on TV, he's been on the radio, but more importantly, what I recognize him for is a relationship that we've had over the last 10 years. We were just talking about this when Than was first building out his brand at Fortune Builders and growing his business, his education of his real estate company. I got to be at the forefront of that when I like to call us the small guys, hanging out with Than. And I guess I got to see this incredible evolution of his business, of his brand, of himself. And he's really had the ability to impact tens of thousands of people's lives. And if you're here with us at REI Club, you understand that one of our models here is not only to empower you guys to quit your job and replace your income and live a fulfilled life, but how to return that to your communities and impact others in a meaningful way. And that is exactly what Than has done on a tremendous scale. And just to kind of give you guys some of his accolades is that he's been investing for over 16 years in both the residential and in commercial space. And what's really just blew my mind when you said this to me, Than, is in that time frame, he has acquired over $1.4 billion of real estate. And you guys have made us notice he's wearing a t-shirt now and has the ability to play basketball in his free time while managing an incredibly successful business. Now, he's bought himself and sold over 1,000 plus single family properties, and he currently owns over 5.5 million square feet of retail shopping centers and over 2,000 plus apartment units. Needless to say, Than has an incredible sense and direction when it comes to real estate investing, where things are heading, and really how to maximize opportunities before people really catch on. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. If you are an agent on our call. If you've ever considered getting a license, you've considered how to make money on the side, a side hustle, you guys are in the right place today. We're going to be talking about a phenomenal opportunity that Than has been working on over the past few years and has really perfected a business model that I think you guys are really, really going to fall in love with. So I want you guys for the next 60 to 90 minutes, if you can, just do me a small favor, go ahead and remove any distractions you have. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I feel like there's 1,000 of them out there now, Than, to just get you distracted. Go ahead and just silence those just for the next 60, 90 minutes. I promise you guys, you're not going to regret that. And definitely have something to write down some notes with, or open up a notepad if you're on your computer. And what I like to do, Than, is go ahead and pass things over to you. I know we have a lot to cover. But other than that, how are you, man? You ready to get started?
Doing great. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Frank. Thank you for the introduction. Great to reconnect with you. Obviously, we've known each other for a long time, and you guys have done a great job educating investors from all parts of the country and different parts of the world as well through REIClub and everything that you do. So I appreciate it. And as important, I want to welcome everybody. I know we have people from all different time zones that are joining us this evening. This is a live webinar. And by the way, not only Frank and I are on the webinar, but two of my associates and longtime friends, Randy Zimnock and Brian Yarber, are also on the webinar behind the scenes, and they're going to be answering questions as we go. And so if you have any questions about what we're going to be discussing tonight, by all means, these gentlemen have been in real estate for a very long time, very seasoned, both as investors and as real estate agents and brokers. And I've worked with them for a long time, and they're just the best of the best and can answer any questions that you have, any and all questions. So today, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about something that's very unique. And I realize we have a wide variety of different folks who are on this webinar as we speak. We probably have people that are across the gamut. I'm sure we have some very seasoned investors. We probably have a lot of new investors. We have people who are exploring real estate for the first time. We might have some agents or contractors or folks who have been in real estate professional services for a number of years and are looking to get into investing or looking to expand what they do as agents. And so what we're going to be talking about is something very unique. And so how is this going to help you? I think, whenever I'm jumping on a webinar or something educational where I'm hearing about an opportunity, that's always a question that runs across my head is, how is this going to benefit me, my family in the future? And so I'll come out and share with you, this is something that will help you. So first of all, it's an opportunity for people who have their real estate license or are considering getting their license anytime in the next year. And when I got involved as a real estate investor 16 years ago, I realized that it was going to be highly advantageous to get my real estate license. And so I did from the very get-go when I got started as an investor. I decided to get licensed, and it was a significant benefit to our real estate investing business. We saved money on commissions. We had access to the MLS. Agents facilitate and bring us a lot of our investment opportunities. So having a license and just being in that network has really helped us facilitate a lot of transactions. And so just a quick background. First, I just got my individual license, and then we decided, we're getting a lot of deals from agents. And we also do a lot of direct marketing, and we were getting leads from direct mail. And so we decided many, many years ago, why don't we start a real estate brokerage? Let's start a real estate brokerage, and that'll help us expand our deal flow. That'll help us get more investment deals. We can also expand the revenues because, being in a market, when you create a presence, if you have some agents that work in your office, you can also obviously generate a revenue as a brokerage. And so we, for the better part of a decade, ran a real estate brokerage with over 40 plus agents, which Randy and Brian oversaw the day-to-day operations of. And so the reason we're talking about this today is we made the decision this year to join an organization that is the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history. And so I'm going to share with you tonight, if you're not licensed, why you should probably consider getting licensed this year. and how it will help you as an investor. If you're an investor and you're looking to do more deals and create more deal flow, this is an opportunity that will help you. And if you're an agent and you spend the majority of your time representing sellers or buyers, this is something that you may strongly consider, like I did early on this year. I was approached by a gentleman named Chris, and he brought this opportunity to me, and it just blew me away. And so what are we going to be going through? We're going to talk about a company called eXp Realty. And eXp Realty is the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history. And to give you some comparison, real estate brokerage has been around for over 100 years. And there's different real estate brokerages that have different business models that have crept up over the past decades. And some have done some great things and some have kind of fizzled out. This is a company that can add an entirely new income stream for you as an agent and as an investor. And so tonight, myself and Randy, and I'll bring Randy in a little bit later, and Brian, we're going to talk a little bit about how this will create a passive income stream for you and why it's such a unique opportunity. So first of all, let me speak to anybody who doesn't have their license. And I'm just going to take a minute. I would guess probably 30-40% of people who are joining us tonight have their license, and 60 to 70% of individuals don't. Well, as a real estate investor, being licensed is really a significant benefit to your business. First of all, you're going to save a tremendous amount of money when you list and sell your own properties. And so when we put a property on the market, we list it with somebody who is in our brokerage, and it saves us a tremendous amount of money. And over the years, it's really helped us expand our revenues. A lot of times when we make offers on properties, we only buy 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 15 properties that we make offers on. So as an investor, there's a lot of unlisted properties there that come your way that you can earn significant commissions on. So I tell everybody in our educational organization, get your license very early on. It's only going to help you build your investment business that much faster. The other thing is obviously not only to save commissions, but one of the things is if you don't want to list properties yourself, just by being licensed, you can refer those listings out to other agents and get paid. Legally, you can't do this if you don't have a license. So when you start going out there and prospecting and generating leads via direct mail, online leads, all the leads you make offers on that you get that are unlisted, you can't really capitalize on unless you're licensed. So that's another revenue stream. Access to the MLS, but the biggest opportunity is what we're going to talk about this evening. The mere fact of getting licensed and hanging your license at eXp Realty, this is a new asset that will be on your balance sheet. Because what makes eXp different from any other brokerage out there, from the Keller Williams, from Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, you name it, Randy and I have investigated the business model, looked at it, considered many different franchise opportunities that are out there. And eXp is by far the one that we liked the best, simply because you are a stockholder. You own stock in the company. You see, most agents are simply trading time for money in essence, because they're essentially renting their desk at their brokerage. And the broker is generating overrides or revenues off of that agent's efforts. Well, at eXp, the biggest difference is you actually own stock within the company and you participate in revenue sharing. And so this is a whole new revenue stream to your business as an investor or as an agent that you don't or you probably previously have not had. And so this is something that can be multiple streams of income. It can help recession-proof your business. And it's really exciting. And I'm going to walk you through why we joined and what we've done since and how it can benefit you as an investor. Now, just very brief, because some of you probably have heard my name before. Some of you may have seen our show before. You might have been to one of our educational seminars. You may have interacted with us. We have thousands of investors who invest with us in commercial real estate transactions. And some of you have no idea or are meeting me for the first time. So I do think it's important to have a little faith and trust in who you're learning from. And whenever an opportunity is discussed, I always like to know a little bit about their background. So I'll be brief, but I think it's important because you'll start to see opportunities for yourself in these different verticals. So I have a couple different real estate investment companies. I have a residential investment company, a commercial real estate investment company, and a brokerage. And so our real estate investment company, like many of you, we started buying and selling single family properties. And now we have an entire team. This is just some shots from our office. And what we look for is single family fix and flip transactions. We've been doing that for 16 years. And the reason we decided to start a brokerage is because we wanted to bring more deals that we could buy, fix, and sell. And so we have an entire team that we've built out that basically targets these transactions. And we've been looking at, been doing the same thing for 16 years. Well, along the way, we started buying commercial properties. We bought apartment buildings. We bought a lot of commercial retail properties as well. And the brokerage has really been something that has facilitated deals for both our residential and our commercial business. So whenever I look at an opportunity, I always ask myself first and foremost, is it going to help me be a better investor? And, or is it going to help us as a brokerage? Is it going to help our agents? Is it going to help us facilitate more deals? And so for years, Randy and I would look at the major franchises and said, should we consider switching? We built an independent brokerage called Realty National here in San Diego. And every year we would say the same thing. Should we look at a Keller Williams? Should we look at a Sotheby's? Should we look at Compass? Should we look at something else that has a national brand so we can expand? And every single year we said it doesn't make sense. It never made sense for our interest. It definitely didn't make sense for the interests of our agents until about a year ago. A gentleman approached me and said, hey, you should check out eXp Realty. They got a different business model and it'll help you as an investor and it'll bring a new income stream because you actually own stock in the company and you can participate in revenue sharing. So I said, you know what? Tell me a little bit more about this. Now I realize some of you have probably heard about eXp Realty. Some of you have probably not heard of eXp Realty. Well, it was interesting because this was the second time I had heard the name eXp Realty. The first time, I was just so busy at the time, I kind of disregarded the opportunity and I said, it doesn't really sound like it'd be something for me. But it was the second time when Chris sat me down and we had dinner and he really took the time to explain the business model. And when he explained it and the way he explained it really made sense. So hopefully you've heard of eXp Realty. If you've never heard of it, great. If you have heard of it, I think tonight I'll explain it in such a way that'll really connect the dots as to how it will help you as an agent, and it'll help you if you're considering getting your license and why you should get licensed, and how it will add a revenue stream to what you do. So let me share with you first and foremost just our transition. We had built this company, Realty National, and so to just switch over to eXp Realty was really a big deal because we had to sit down with all of our agents and say, hey, we are moving our brokerage to eXp Realty. You can go with us or you can go to any company that you want in the industry. And what's amazing is when Randy and I sat down with our agents, who are all different real estate professionals with us for many years, every single one of them decided to move their license to eXp Realty. And I think that speaks volumes to the business model itself. They had the opportunity to look elsewhere at every other major national company, mom and pop companies, and they all came with us because of what you're going to see this evening. So let's talk a little bit about eXp Realty. I'll connect the dots for those of you, and for many of you, you'll say, man, I need to go get licensed. This is a significant revenue stream that can help me. If you are licensed, you'll probably consider joining eXp Realty, but what I will encourage you to do is talk to one of us at our office before you make that final decision. So I always like to make sure people have informed decisions before they decide to move their license. We moved our license over in like a week because we just saw the opportunity right away and it clicked for us. But I realize many of you who are licensed, you'll have questions, and that's why Randy and Brian, myself, are fully prepared to answer those questions for you. So let's talk a little bit about what makes eXp Realty unique. And it all starts, when I got into real estate 16 years ago, the reason I got into real estate is probably very similar to the reason many of you got into real estate. And I'm going to turn my camera off here and I'll turn it back on here shortly because I want to go into full screen mode just so you can see. I have some pictures, Frank, and a couple drawings. So
okay, cool. I'm still here too. That's why I turned my video off.
All right. Yeah, let me turn. I got to figure out how to turn this camera off. Otherwise, you're gonna be staring at my big head the whole time.
I know.
But, so 16 years ago, the reason I got into real estate is I didn't want to work for money the rest of my life. You know, I didn't want to have someone controlling my income. And like many of you, the reason we get into real estate is to create passive income. And ideally, we want to get to the point where we have a passive income that is greater than our expenses. And that creates financial freedom. What's interesting is what we're taught, you know, growing up historically, is to go to school, get a good job, and work for money. And oftentimes, many of us get fed up and we start our own business. Some of us decide we're going to go get a real estate license. Well, even if you're a real estate agent, in essence, you're still trading time for money. Because if you want to make more money, you have to go out there and list and sell more properties. That is very much what we as real estate agents do. Now, as investors, if we're flipping properties, we're still trading time for money. It's just what we're doing is a little bit different. We're managing rehabs, we're managing contractors. And so my goal of being an investor, like many of you, as I said, I want to flip some properties, but every time I flip a property, I want to go out there and buy a rental. And if we start a brokerage and we earn some revenues from this brokerage, I want to take those revenues and create passive income. And so I want to take my active income and convert it into passive income as quickly as possible. And the goal, you know, 16 years ago, starting out, was to acquire a lot of single family rental properties, commercial assets that create passive income, and then grow those assets over time. And with those assets, go out and invest in other companies and businesses. Well, what's interesting is our brokerage was never really a big profit center for us. And most agents are simply trading time for money. Well, what's unique about eXp Realty is you will see that you can go out there and make a lot of money on really good commission split at eXp, but you also have the opportunity to own stock. And stock is an asset that can generate passive income for you. And there's another opportunity through revenue sharing where you can participate in the revenues that are generated within this company, which is another asset. That is another passive income stream. Every other brokerage. So if you decide to go get licensed or you are licensed and you hang your license at any other brokerage, you are working for money. What eXp offers you is the opportunity to create passive income in addition to traditional commission income. And that's unique. That's the big picture. But how they do it is what I'm going to explain to you tonight. And I'm going to explain the splits, how they work, and why this is such a unique opportunity for you. Because at the end of the day, the big picture, if you decide you're going to get licensed and list and sell property, or you decide to get licensed just as an investor to sell your own properties, no matter where you hang your license, if it's at any other brokerage, you're going to get paid one way, through buy and sell commissions. That is how you will earn income by having your license. What's unique about eXp Realty is that there are 7 different profit centers that they provide agents that hold their license at eXp Realty. This is what attracted me. Wait a second, I can get stock? Same thing when we sat down with all of our agents said, you mean we can actually be owners in the company, and we can participate in revenue sharing, and we can work with iBuyers and earn commissions that way, and we can get paid from lending. All these different profit centers. We at our independent brokerage, which is Realty National, we didn't have these profit centers to offer our agents. And this is why our agents were so happy to switch. And this is also why so many agents that are affiliated with our organization are joining eXp Realty. And so what I'll share with you tonight is how we can help you as an investor and as an agent grow your commissions, grow your investment deals, all by being part of our organization at eXp Realty. And I'll explain that in detail. Now let's talk a little bit about the company, because if you're going to be part of a company, you have to understand what makes this company so unique. Well, first of all, the growth trajectory that this company is on has never been replicated in the history of traditional real estate brokerages. So it is the fastest growing company. And the reason it's growing so quickly is because, and why top producers in every market around the country are joining, is because you get revenue share, and because you own stock, and you have a very attractive 80-20 split that most traditional franchises out there don't offer. And so not only do you have the ability to start out at 80-20, but you also have the ability to go to 100% commission relatively quickly. And so they just offer agents more than what other traditional brokerages offer. And that puts you in a better position to earn a living and create financial freedom for your family. That's why agents are joining in droves, and that's why it is the fastest growing. And to date, there's over 42,000 agents at the company itself. Now, what's also unique, and pay attention to this is a public company. Very few traditional real estate brokerages want to go through the process of becoming a public company. And because it's a public company, and if you own stock, and there's so many different ways that I'm going to walk you through here in a few minutes to earn stock just by holding your license at eXp Realty. Just by doing what you normally do as a real estate agent, you can accumulate stock. And stock is an asset, and that stock can appreciate. Obviously, stock can, I'm going to be very careful not to make earnings claims. A stock can go up in price, it can go down in value. But if you look at what the stock has done over the past year, there's very few companies on the NASDAQ that have grown like eXp. And so I'll just give you a quick example. If you had earned $100,000 in stock at eXp, or you had invested $100,000 in stock in May of this year, May of 2020, less than a year ago, the stock was at $8 a share. Today, the stock's at $117. So let me do some quick math. Now I'm going to be very careful. A stock can go up in price, it can go down in price, it can go down in price tomorrow. But I think this is reflective of how this company is growing. And it's also, if you have different multiple ways of earning stock, it can be a significant asset on your balance sheet. Well, to give you an example, if you had $100,000 of eXp stock in May at $8 a share, that stock would be worth over $1 million in less than a year at $117 a share. I'll say that again. If you had accumulated $100,000 in stock at less than $8 a share in May, or you had just purchased $100,000 of eXp stock, today it's at $117 a share. That's over $1 million. That is an asset. If you're at any other real estate brokerage, you don't have stock. You don't have the ability to earn stock, and you're simply getting paid a commission for listing and selling properties. This is one aspect that makes this company so unique. And I'll give you an example. I've been doing these webinars about every month. Here was the stock price about a month ago at $79. Here was the stock price in November at $43. And you can see why just this company is literally a rocket ship. And that is something that's very unique. Imagine having the opportunity to join a company like Amazon in 1997 when the stock was at $1.97 a share. Well, you'd be pretty happy if you were part of that organization, or you had bought stock in that organization. Well, I'm not here to share with you that you should be buying stock in eXp, or that's a decision you will make as an individual. What I'm here to share with you is the opportunity of actually getting licensed and hanging your license at eXp Realty, and how that will help you as an investor. So let's talk about, what did I see in eXp? There's so many opportunities come across my desk every single month. 99% of those opportunities we say no to. If it doesn't help us as residential real estate investors or commercial real estate investors, if it doesn't help grow our brokerage, then typically we say no to the opportunity. When eXp Realty crossed my desk, I said, hold on a second. I got to spend time on this. And so I spend the better part of one day of my week, every single week, working on this opportunity. That is how much opportunity is here. And the reason I say that's significant, and you might say, well, one day is not really significant. We own over 1,900 apartment units, over 5.5 million square feet of commercial retail space. We own a lot of commercial assets. So I like to spend a lot of my time looking at those types of projects But this opportunity is significant enough where I said, I got to spend time on this because this can really grow over time and be a significant asset for us. And I think that's the same decision you will look at. If you're not licensed, you'll probably say, man, I should get licensed. And if you are licensed, you'll say, you know what, I should probably at the very least set up a time to talk to Randy or Brian or Than about eXp, because this is really interesting and I might consider moving my license over there. So the reason we joined eXp and moved our entire brokerage over there is they have the best technology and lead generation tools in the business. We've looked at every real estate brokerage out there, and I can tell you definitively they have the best tools. Why is this important? Because it'll help you generate more investment deals. It'll help you list and sell more properties when you have the best technology and when you generate more leads than other agents or other investors. If you generate more leads, you're going to make more money. And at the end of the day, training is also essential. You got to have the best training in the industry to really grow your revenues as an investor or as an agent. And so I'll walk you through what this training platform, and now this is entirely unique to eXp. There are no other brokerages out there where you have the opportunity to accumulate stock, nor do you have the growth trajectory of what this company has been doing over the past couple of years as well. So not only do you have the ability to accumulate stock in some very unique ways, I think long-term that stock will be a significant asset on your balance sheet. And then the biggest opportunity I'll share is at the very end, and that's revenue sharing. And this is very unique in the industry, and you will not see this at any other real estate brokerage. So let's talk a little bit about the company, and then we'll go through 4 ways to recession-proof your real estate investing business and to grow your revenues as both an investor and as an agent. So to really understand what makes eXp Realty unique, first you have to talk a little bit about the founder. And so I'll share with you, I've had the opportunity to talk to Glenn multiple times, and Glenn is a very unique individual. This gentleman is a billionaire, by the way. And, there's very few billionaires out there around, but what makes him unique is his background. He was involved in many real estate and internet startups. He also worked at Keller Williams, and he built up multiple teams across the country. So he has a very unique background in the fact that he worked at internet startups and he built a very traditional team-based real estate brokerage across the country through Keller Williams. Well, in 2008, when the Great Recession hit, and he started looking at Keller Williams' business model, he said, you know what, it's broken. There's so many offices around the country that are not profitable, and this whole industry is ripe for disruption. He said, if there was a company out there that was cloud-based, they could really disrupt the industry because they could, instead of having all this overhead with these hundreds or thousands of brick and mortar offices, they could take all of those additional revenues and spread them out amongst their agents. And if we could run this business from the cloud and offer agents more from a commission standpoint, more from a stock ownership standpoint, we can really disrupt this industry. And that's exactly what eXp has done. And to be fair, you really have to look outside the industry to understand the business model. If you were to go to Harvard today and take a Harvard business case study on eXp Realty, this is what they would share with you. So I'm going to share with you why this business model has disrupted the real estate brokerage industry. Well, the best way to think about it is actually to compare it to a couple other industries that have been disrupted. Many years ago, if you wanted to have a family night and rent a movie, you'd go to Blockbuster. So think about this. Blockbuster had thousands of brick and mortar locations around the country. They would have to sign a long-term lease with the landlord, then they'd have to hire an entire staff. They'd have to invest in the store itself. And they had so much overhead, brick and mortar overhead, and their profit margins were so thin at Blockbuster. Well, along came a company that said, we don't want to have thousands of brick and mortar locations. We're going to stream videos, and therefore we're going to eat up market share. And that company, in a few years, put Blockbuster out of business. They disrupted the entire industry. Well, this has happened in the movie online streaming industry. It's also happened in other industries. The toy industry, the book industry were completely disrupted by a company that did not have, at the time, brick and mortar locations. Along came Amazon, and they sold their books online, and they sold their toys online. They put these companies completely out of business. Why is this relevant? Well, it's happening in the real estate industry. Hilton, 100-year-old company valued at $18 billion. Along comes a company, and in 10 years, they're valued at $100+ billion, and they don't own any real estate. That's Airbnb. Well, if we look at the real estate brokerage business model, the real estate brokerage business model is broken. Brokers make very little money. The majority of income typically goes to the agents. And the business model is broken because all of these brokerages have significant overhead. They have brick and mortar offices. The actual commission splits that the broker receives are very small. Yet at the end of the day, they have all of this overhead. Well, along came eXp and they said, we're going to disrupt this business simply by having a cloud-based brokerage and by offering agents more than any other brokerage out there. And that's what eXp did. What eXp did is they said, you know what? Here's what traditional brokerages look like. This is the Keller Williams of the world, the Compass of the world. This is Sotheby's. All of the major national franchises are structured very similarly. They have what they call an international company, and they typically have regions or they sell franchises in different regions around the country. And what you have to do is you typically open an office. That means you have a brick and mortar location, a lease, overhead, copiers, all of the expense. Then you have to hire a team leader. And all of that costs money. And that money is taken away from the agents in that office. And so the agents have a less attractive split because of the overhead. And they don't get any ownership because of the overhead. They don't participate in any revenue sharing because of the overhead. So the agents are simply commissioned salespeople on a terrible split, typically, or on a lower split. And then you have staff you have to pay. And at the bottom of the totem pole are the people doing all the heavy lifting. And so what Glenn did is he said, you know what? What if we just had an international company? We eliminated the regions, the franchise, the office, the market centers, the manager, the team leaders. What if we eliminated all that expense and we took all of that profit and we gave it to the agents? What if we were able to do that? Well, that's exactly why it is the fastest growing real estate brokerage in history, is because agents are owners in this company. They don't rent their desk like at every other franchise. Not only do they own this company through stock ownership, but they also participate in the revenues that the company generates. And they have the best training, lead, technology, and support in the industry because there's more money invested in this company because they don't have all of the expense that these other brokerages in the traditional business model have. And so what eXp did is they said, we're going to eliminate this. We're going to make it more profitable. Same thing, Amazon. Amazon came along and said, you know what? We're going to be able to charge lower price because we don't have all the brick and mortar locations and we're going to grow. And why is the eXp stock growing so quickly? Simply because the business model is superior. And so when you hang your license at eXp, you are the benefactor of that business model. Now, the reason, let's get to the brass tacks. There's 4 pillars, and you're going to want to write this down. There's 4 major reasons you should consider getting your real estate license or hanging your real estate license through our organization at eXp. 1, we're going to help you with every aspect of this. So we do training. We help provide technology and tools to people who are part of our organization. So I want to be very clear. If anyone's talked to you about eXp Realty, I'm going to share with you what we're going to offer you through our organization at eXp. So we have an organization, and if you hang your license, you're going to want to hang your license at our organization at eXp as opposed to any other agent you may have talked to, because you will be able to leverage the tools that I'm going to share with you this evening and some of the things I'm going to go through towards the end of this educational session as well. So first, let's talk about how technology and lead generation tools help you as an investor and they help you as an agent. What eXp did is it said every investor agent, every agent needs the best tools to go out there and generate more leads for more investment deals, for more listing leads. They need the best transaction management platform to manage those leads, and they need superior marketing. And so what eXp did is they said, we're going to build some of these tools in-house, but we're also going to go out there and look at third-party tools that agents are already paying money for on a monthly basis. And we're going to go license them at the company level, and then we're going to give access to our agents so that they don't have to pay that monthly fee to that technology platform provider. And when they join eXp, a lot of them are going to save hundreds of dollars a month simply by using our tools. So the first thing they did is they built a lead generation and CRM customer relationship management system for you as an investor agent. And so this thing is kick-ass. They also have optional lead generation programs. For example, they have a program where you can pay $250 a month that generates typically between 15 to 25 leads a month. Those are highly inexpensive leads that you may be able to buy as an investor, or you may be able to list and sell as an agent, or both. That is a phenomenal lead generation program that they have at eXp Realty. And this is nice because a lot of independent brokers, they give their agents a lead or two here or there just to kind of, I call it lead jail. They try to keep you captive to their company simply by giving you a couple leads now and again. The most successful agents, the most successful investors, they do their own marketing and they generate their own leads. And what's unique about eXp Realty is they have all these lead generation programs that you can pay for where they generate the leads for you. And then you can manage them in the CRM. And that just gives you a great tool. Now, not only that, but when you're transacting, if you're doing investment deals, you're listing and selling properties, there's a lot of aspects of the transaction that you have to manage. And so what eXp did is they went out there and they said, SkySlope's the best in the industry. We're going to give SkySlope to every single one of our agents. They won't have to pay SkySlope directly anymore. And so we're going to license it at the corporate level, and then we're going to give agents access. That's a nice benefit for you for just being part of eXp. One of the things that I loved about eXp is their marketing center. So as an investor, as an agent, we're always needing to market. We're always needing to generate leads for both sellers and buyers. Well, what eXp did is they already invested the time to hire graphic designers to create over 5,000 marketing pieces for your business. I'm going to give you, if you've ever designed one marketing piece, you know how time consuming it'd be. You got to go hire a designer online, and you got to manage that designer, and you got, all the time back and forth for one freaking marketing piece. They're already at your disposal, over 5,000 pieces in their marketing center. You just go in there right there, from videos, the door hangers, the postcards, the curated flyers, brochures, social media. It is so easy to manage and crank out marketing for your deals just through their marketing center. And this is really what technology and tools do for you. They help you run your business more efficiently. And then they have eXp Enterprise. If you talk to Randy or Brian and you want to see a great tool to help you manage your business, this is it. This will make you a better investor. This will make you a better agent. It is a tremendous platform. So just by hanging your license in eXp, you're going to make more money simply by being a more effective investor and more effective agent, because you have the best tools in the industry. We've looked at everything. We looked at Keller. We looked at Compass. We diagnosed their tools. We said, if we're going to recommend something to our agents, we want the best of the best. And I can tell you, they have invested more money and time in their technology than any other company. And in many ways, they are a technology-driven company at eXp Realty. Now, folks, what I'm going to encourage you to do is I'm going to go through 3 other aspects that I love about eXp Realty and how it has made me more money as an investor. And you're going to want to pay attention. Many of you are going to get very excited when I walk you through how it's going to help you get more transactions. But I want to encourage you at any point during this webinar, go to REIClub.com/EXP. You can type it into your browser. You can write it down. You can take a screenshot right now. this is where I'm going to direct you at any point during this webinar or at the end. Now, there's no commitment. You don't have to move your license, immediately. All you have to do is fill out the form. If you want more information about eXp, or if you want to get personalized questions answered by Randy or Brian or myself, just go to that form and fill it out. It's a short web form. And what we'll do is we'll get in touch with you, and we can even set up a time to answer your questions, because we want you to make an informed decision. If you decide to get licensed or move your license, that's a decision that you should get some help with, or at least get your questions answered that you might have about it. And so I'm going to encourage you, there's no cost to fill out the form. Just fill it out, take the time, and you may decide at the end of the day it's not for you. And that's great. If you feel like you're better off somewhere else, by all means do that. But at the end of the day, take the time at the very least to get some more information. Then make an educated decision about what's best for you and your family, and what's going to put you in the driver's seat to put you on a path to financial freedom the fastest possible way. That's what I love about eXp is we have so many agents who literally every single month are like, my gosh, I just got my monthly revenue check. It's helping me pay my car payment, my monthly mortgage. And it's so satisfying to help people grow these revenue streams just by being part of our organization at eXp Realty. Let's keep going though. The second way to recession-proof your business and to really drive revenue is by having superior training. If you're an investor or you're an agent, you want the best training. You want to learn from the best of the best in the industry. What I've been so impressed by at eXp Realty is how they train their agents and a lot of their investor agents who hang their license at eXp. And I will tell you flat out, there is no other brokerage, because we've looked at them all. For over a decade, every year, Randy and I would say, should we consider another, instead of running our own independent brokerage, which takes a ton of time, we would say, should we just join a franchise out there? And we never felt like the international company that ran that franchise was ever really aligned with their franchisors or with the agents at their office. We never felt like there was a financial alignment. I always felt like the international company was the one benefiting more until we joined eXp Realty. Well, what I loved about eXp Realty, a lot of agents brand themselves in the market. So they may hang their license at Keller Williams or Compass or wherever, but they may what they typically do is brand themselves. And the same thing in our brokerage. All of our agents were kind of branding themselves and their business, their company name or their investor name. A lot of the agents at our office are investors as well. And so they're really kind of branding their company or their personal likeness. What I love about eXp Realty is none of our agents had to change their branding. You can market yourself, and they encourage their agents to do. They're the first brokerage that encourages their agents to really market themselves. And all you have to do on your signage, your business cards, is in the lower right-hand corner, put powered by eXp Realty. And so the switch for us was so seamless because we really didn't have to change a lot when we decided to switch. The thing that I've been most impressed by, though, is the training platform. And this has been echoed by everyone who has joined our organization, because what we do is we provide a lot of investor agent trainings for people who are investor agents, who do both, who list and sell properties, but they also buy investment deals. And then what eXp does at the corporate level is they have one of the most robust educational platforms for agents that I've ever seen. And I'm going to explain how this works right now. First of all, let me explain what typically happens. And Frank, you may find this, you've been in real estate for a long time. Brokerages are typically very, I'm gonna color it, terrible at training. And here's why. What they typically do is they pass the training on to a team leader at the office. And a lot of times the team leader isn't necessarily, an agent listing and selling $100+ million a year. So what you're learning from is somebody who's kind of quasi in the business, quasi managing the office. Then occasionally, once a month, they might have a training, or they do trainings twice a month. So they're very haphazard. They're very infrequent at most brokerages. Or they might tap one of the agents. Well, a lot of the agents don't really want to train other agents. They're kind of territorial. And so they're like, well, yeah, I'll share some stuff, but I'm not really going to share my best stuff. And this goes on at every company around the country, because agents at those offices look at the other agents as competitors. What I love about eXp Realty, if you own stock and someone else in the company owns stocks, you're aligned. Your interests are aligned. You want other agents to win in your local area. You want other agents in other areas to win, because it helps improve the stock price. It helps improve the revenue share. Now, it may not help your individual listing and selling commissions, but it absolutely helps the other assets that you participate in from a revenue standpoint. And so I have never seen a company where its top producing agents throughout the country, there's over 42,000 agents, and the top agents train on a daily basis in the training platform that eXp has created. So on any given day, I'll give you an example. Every single week, there's over 50 hours of training. 50 hours of training. Most brokerages have about 2 to 3 hours a month at most brokerages in training. They have over 50 hours of training every single week on everything from how to generate leads using social media to how to use technology, how to build teams. I'll give you an example. This is an example of one day on their training calendar. And from an investor agent standpoint, you have the ability at your fingertips to essentially be joining a real estate agent mastermind at no cost to you, because at eXp, you pay a very reasonable monthly fee to be part of eXp, which includes all the training and technology that you get access to. And so this is what you have the ability from the comfort of your own home to tap into. And I'll share with you, when we switched over, I said, I'm gonna go and check out the training platform and see what I can learn. I've been in real estate for 16 years, so I'm a little bit hard headed. I'm like, well, what am I really gonna learn? I was blown away myself at the quality of discussions, panels. For example, in the morning, the day that I tuned in, there was a lady who does 500 transactions a year. Very few agents do 500 transactions a year. She's doing 500 transactions a year, and she was breaking down essentially from start to finish how she built her team. So her team, who does the majority of the work for her, the structure, who she hired first, second, third, this is stuff you do not get in your local office. This is stuff you don't even get in a real estate agent mastermind. This is somebody doing 500 transactions a year, basically laying out the business model for how she went from one transaction a year to 500 transactions a year. That is worth like $30,000, $40,000 a year that you would get in an agent mastermind. Later that afternoon, there was a gentleman from Arizona doing 600 transactions a year, breaking down his marketing platform, how he generates his leads. When I was on this training, I'm like, dude, this is great information for my investment business. This is great information for our brokerage and our agents. And I was sitting there blown away that it was just happening in the platform that they have created for people around the country. And then later that day, there was a panel discussion. And on the panel, I totaled it up. These were people doing over 1,000 transactions collectively. And there was only like 5 people on the panel sharing what they were doing. So this is the quality of training that they have on a daily basis. And what I love about it is they've created one of the most valuable training platforms to deliver that training. So it is cutting edge, where you can tune in. Essentially, they have their entire corporate office in the cloud. So if you have a question about the technology that you're using at eXp, or you have a question, maybe you have a contract question that you need help on because you're closing a deal, or maybe you're looking at your last commission that you got and you have some questions, you have some tax questions. They have specialized departments where their entire corporate office is sitting in this virtual environment. And so just like you would walk through a normal office, you have the ability to log in and actually get your questions answered. And at the same time, they're delivering the training in these different training rooms every single day By the way, Stanford University of San Diego is licensing this technology, which is owned by the company. And so if you're a stockholder, the reason I said it was a technology company, first and foremost, this is one of the assets of the company itself. Why do I love this company? Because they're cutting edge. No other brokerage owns technology like this. And if you own stock in the company or you're accumulating stock, it's an asset. What makes Amazon so unique is the technology that runs that organization. That's one of the reasons the stock price has become what it has become over the past 20 plus years. That's an asset for the company. This is an asset for every single agent who hangs their license at eXp that you're using every day, that other institutions like Stanford University are licensing. That is an asset that helps drive the stock price as well. So it's not just a real estate company, it's also a technology company. And what makes it unique for agents, top producing agents, they manage their business on vacation, they manage their business from home. Yeah, they go out there and list and sell properties every single week. They're meeting with clients. But what's also unique about eXp is that you don't have any of that overhead. All of that overhead gets redistributed to agents through these unique programs I'm about to share with you. And in addition to that, they said, well, some agents still want to have the ability to meet with clients at an office. So what they did is they went out and got corporate memberships for every single agent at eXp so that you can go to one of the best shared office spaces, and they have over 3,000 locations around the world, through Regus. So Regus has these absolutely beautiful shared office spaces. So if you still want to meet with investor clients, private money lenders, if you want to meet with an agent you might be listing a property for, a buyer you might be working with, or seller, whoever, you can actually meet in an office at Regus simply by having your license hung at eXp Realty. Now, these two, when I saw these two things and I really dissected the technology and training, I go, this is really going to help all of our agents. But the next two pillars that I'm going to break down next are the most important. So sit up straight, take a deep breath, take some notes, because if you are licensed and you hang your license at any other organization besides eXp, you will not have what eXp offers, which is stock ownership and revenue sharing. And this is what really got my attention. And in fact, the very first time this was explained to me, that night I came home and I told my wife, I said, honey, I'm going to change my work schedule because I'm going to be spending about a day or so a week just being part of eXp. This company has the ability for us to grow revenue sharing and passive income and accumulate a new passive income source that we've never had the ability to do at a real estate investment company or a brokerage. And we have the ability to accumulate stock. And I think this stock is going somewhere. In fact, I'm going to just tell you, I put my money where my mouth is. That night I came back from the very first time that I talked with Chris, I bought stock as well. Now, I'm not making a stock recommendation or a stock pick here. I'm just telling you what I did. And I'm very glad that I went out there and have accumulated stock by being part of the company. And I'm very glad that I'm part of this organization, because obviously if you see the stock price growth over the past couple months, it's astronomical. Well, let's take a look at how this works, right? And like I said earlier, at any point, if you want more information, go to REIClub.com/EXP, fill out the short form there, and we will set up a time to answer your questions or send you more information via email, whatever you prefer about the organization. Well, this is what really got my attention, because I've always felt like the real estate brokerage business model is broken. And I've always said, the agents are the ones doing all the work, but they really don't own their own business. They're just renting a desk. They're just commission salespeople. And I'm not trying to be demeaning in any way. I for the longest time, when I got licensed, I would buy some investment deals every year and I would list and sell some property. So I know what it's like to be a commission salesperson. And I have a lot of respect for what agents do. And I'll tell you, you can earn a lot of money as an agent. There are agents out there that are earning significant income by being licensed salespeople. The weakness, though, of being an agent is that you typically don't own the company that you work at. The other weakness is, somebody is earning an override on your performance, and that's typically the broker. Well, what if you had the ability to own part of your company without having to do any of the work? That's what I love. Now, ownership is awesome until you're actually an owner of an independent brokerage, which Randy will tell you. And then you're doing commission disbursements, you're putting out fires. So what I really wanted was ownership without the work, right? Because ownership a lot of times is an over-sexified word where now all of a sudden you're trading more time for money because you're now managing a bunch of agents. Well, when I saw eXp Realty, I said to Randy, Randy, we don't really have to be owners anymore, but we have the benefits of ownership. And when he started thinking about how much time he spent just managing agents, because he was managing the office, was also part owner, he's like, we're freaking crazy if we don't join eXp Realty, because we're going to accumulate stock. I can go out there and list and sell properties. I can work on my investment transactions. I don't have to manage agents anymore. I don't have to manage commission disbursements. Our agents in our office are going to love it because they don't have any ownership right now at Realty National. He goes, Keller Williams, this is why Keller Williams, Compass, Sotheby's absolutely are shaking in their boots, because agents are jumping ship by the droves over to eXp Realty because they don't have this at any of the other organizations. This is what makes eXp unique. eXp is a publicly listed company. It is on the NASDAQ. If you buy the stock independently, that is an asset on your balance sheet. But you don't have to buy it, because by hanging your license at eXp, you can accumulate it through these various methods I'm about to show you. So first of all, the stock is EXPI, right? That's what is listed on the NASDAQ. And what's unique, eXp, you may have heard of eXp, and different people will say, is it a direct sales company? Is it a multi-level company? How does this company work? Well, first of all, eXp Realty is a real estate brokerage. And all the revenues that are generated at eXp are through real estate transactions. So I'm going to be very clear. This is not an MLM or a direct sales company. This is a real estate brokerage. And in fact, it has gone through the rigor of being publicly listed, which most traditional brokerages or private companies don't want to meet that litmus test. It is a very difficult, from a reporting standpoint, to meet this. So this is a real company that is on a growth trajectory with a board of directors, with a corporate structure that is significant. So I want to be very clear, because some people have heard about eXp Realty, and there's always misinformation that is shared about the company, like any company. But what's unique is when you hang your license through our organization at eXp Realty, what happens is every single transaction, when you move your license over, you now accumulate stock on your first transaction each year. So that is a way of being rewarded stock simply by doing what we do as agents, list and sell properties. If you're an agent, or if you get your license, or if you sell your own property, it could be your own transaction. The first transaction each year, you accumulate stock. Now, what's nice about eXp Realty is they have a cap. And what a cap is this is where you as an agent move from an 80-20 split to 100% commission. So we call that capping. And when you cap, you earn stock. So this is a second way to accumulate stock. So in addition to moving to 100% commission, you also accumulate stock. Other discounted brokerages, well, most brokerages don't have as attractive a split as eXp. Some discounted brokerages have an attractive split, but you don't have the ability to accumulate stock, and you certainly don't have the ability to participate in revenue sharing, which I'm going to talk about next. So even if you're at a brokerage with 100% commission to you right now, and you're saying, well, how would I benefit? You're going to benefit because you're going to accumulate stock. You're going to benefit by what I share with you next, which is revenue sharing. And when I'm talking about you go from 100% to 110% to 150% to 175%, when you do the math, it makes no sense at all to be at a discounted brokerage. Discounted brokerages, I hate to say it, terrible training. You're going to pay a split anyway because you're probably paying a transaction fee. They just don't have any money to invest in their agents. They don't have any training. They don't have any technology. It's a lot of times a very short-sighted thought to be at a discounted brokerage where you have 100% commission. So what's unique about eXp is you start out on an 80-20. Then you have the ability, so it's a hybrid model where when you cap, you go to 100% commission. And the cap is very low in comparison to other companies. The cap is only $16,000. A lot of companies don't even have a cap. The most you would pay before you cap to eXp is 16 grand. I talk to agents all the time that have paid 30, 40, 50 grand that year to their brokerage. I'm like, that's insane. Join eXp, the most you'll pay to eXp before you cap is 16 grand. Now, there are some very small transaction management fees after that, which I will go through, full transparent. I'll go through all the fees. But by the sheer fact of having several ways to accumulate stock, that makes this company very unique. Now, the other unique thing, and this is something that got me very excited, is that when you introduce an agent to eXp and they join, they get stock. Why do I like doing these webinars? I want to be very clear. When people join our organization, we accumulate stock. When you introduce the company to other agents and they join, you're going to get stock. So we are completely aligned in our financial interest because you have to join eXp through somebody. And so what I'm going to share with you is how, by being part of our organization, you'll tap into Randy, myself, Chris, Brian, and we're now your team. We're your team helping you do more investment deals, earn more commission, accumulate more stock, participate in a greater level of revenue sharing, and our interests are completely aligned. That's what makes this such a unique opportunity. Now, the other way to accumulate stock is they have an Icon Agent program. And the Icon Agent program is if you're a top producer at eXp, which is not a very high bar. I was surprised at how low this bar was to be an Icon Agent. You actually have the ability to earn your cap back. So what you actually paid eXp in commission, because remember, you get 80% of the commission right out of the gate, 20% goes to eXp. Well, that at 16 grand, you cap. You then move to 100% commission. Well, you actually have the ability to earn that $16,000 cap back by meeting certain production and cultural goals. What is one of those cultural goals? Participating as a trainer in their training platform. That's why they get some of the top producing agents in the company sharing their best practices with other agents, from new agents to relatively experienced agents to agents who just capped to other Icon agents, all learning within this collective platform. And that's one of the benefits of being part of eXp. Then on top of it, now this is optional, you can take 5% of your commission, a small part of your commission, and actually accumulate and get paid that commission in stock at a 10% discount. We decided to do that because that's like a 10% return on your money. Any smart investor is going to decide to participate in the agent equity program. Bottom line, let me keep this simple. No other brokerage offers this. So no other brokerage can you accumulate stock. And when that stock, imagine if you had accumulated $100,000 of stock back in May, or if you had accumulated $10,000 in stock back in May, you would have 10x'd that money to what the stock price is at today, at $117. So think about that for a second. You are getting in on a company that is growing hand over fist. When a company is growing at that trajectory, a lot of times the stock price is going to follow it somewhat. I can't predict where the stock's going to go. It can go down. It can go up. I've seen it go down on certain days. I've seen it go up. But I'm just glad that I've been at this company, and I'm very glad that I'm going to be at this company for many years to come as well, because on top of that, the stock just split. They just announced a split, which is an amazing thing as well for people who have their license at eXp. Just you looking at the stock price right here, you can see the growth of it. Now, I'm telling you, Frank, I got to turn my camera on for this. This is what got my attention as much as any of these four pillars, I call them, of why we joined eXp. I love accumulating stock because that's an asset on my balance sheet. At the name of the game, one of my first mentors 16 years ago said, accumulate assets, you create passive income. Accumulate assets, they're going to increase in value. That's what single family homes have done on my balance sheet. That's what commercial properties have done on my balance sheet. You know, we have over 1,900 apartments. We have over 5.5 million square feet of retail. The reason I never like to sell real estate and hold it as long as possible, it's an asset. And that asset value goes up. That's the reason I love having stock. You know, I own Tesla. I own Google. I own Amazon. I own Apple. You know, I don't consider myself a stock investor. I'm a real estate investor. But I love having other assets on my balance sheet. And when I looked at this, I said, this is unique because not only can I own stock in this company, but I can also participate in revenue sharing simply by introducing other agents to eXp. And I said to myself, when I looked at that, I said, is this going to be hard? Because anytime I look at something, I said, how much time is this going to take? And if I'm going to introduce somebody to an opportunity, I really want it to sell itself. I don't want to have to handle a lot of questions or objections, or, you know, really the business should speak for itself. You know, if I was a sales rep at Apple, I would much prefer to be a sales rep at Apple than I would at like XYZ startup technologies. Apple has every superior product on earth. So really, it kind of sells itself. You don't really have to do much. When you go to the Apple store, they're not really selling you anything. You're really going there because you want to buy something. And you know it's a superior brand. Well, what I love about eXp is when I introduce this to agents via email. So let me give you an example. As an investor, we're always talking to agents. So we're communicating with them on the phone, communicating with them via email. Inevitably, we make a lot of offers, and we're talking to agents all the time. So we have a pool of people that we could introduce to eXp Realty simply by sending them an email. And so what we do is anytime we're working on a transaction, we shoot them a very simple email. It says, hey, have you ever heard of eXp Realty? And if so, if you'd like more information, watch this short video or watch this webinar about this very unique brokerage. This is the fastest growing brokerage in history. And I'm telling you right now, 50% of the people that we introduce the company to join. Folks, that is astronomical. At our small independent brokerage, we would introduce it to 50 agents, and maybe one agent would join our small independent real estate brokerage. That's very typical. The reason is because of what you're seeing here this evening. This is why people are getting licensed so they can join eXp Realty. We have so many investors in our organization right now. We have a pipeline of over 1,000 investors across the country who are currently getting their license to join us at eXp Realty because they watched a webinar like this and said, my gosh, this makes sense for our investment business. I got to go get licensed. So we have a lot of agents that are a lot of investors in process. And we have a lot of agent investors who are a part of our organization who have joined eXp Realty through us because they said, you're going to help us accumulate stock. You're going to help us with this revenue sharing piece. That's a huge asset to my family in the future, to your family in the future. I'm going to join with you guys. So I'm going to be very clear. You're going to want to join through our organization, which is associated with REI. So essentially you're joining through our joint organization. And when you talk to Randy, or you talk to Brian, or you talk to myself, you're actually going to be joining eXp through our organization. And we're going to help you build what I'm about to share with you now. Now, I want to be very clear. You as an agent or as an investor can go sell your own inventory, do your investment transactions. By the way, you get three, I can't remember, Randy, is it 2 or 3? Unmute yourself. I don't remember per year.
You get three per year.
Transactions a year. Explain that program for investors in like 1 minute or less, Randy, because you do a better job explaining this than I do, actually.
Yeah, you get basically 3 personal deals a year at 100% commission. So as long as you're part on the LLC, or if you're buying in your name, or if it's your wife, then you get 100% of that commission. There's no commission going to eXp. You're paying only the transaction fee of $250 and the $25 broker review fee and $40 risk management fee that you're going to go over later, and that's it. So
yeah, the other great thing about joining our organization is we actually have an agreement with eXp Corporate. We have the ability to wholesale. We have a lot of wholesalers in our organization. And so I think that's another important point to bring up, because by joining through our organization, you actually have the benefit of being able to wholesale as a licensed agent with eXp. But let me dive into revenue sharing. And this is something that got my attention because there's no other brokerage out there that offers what I'm about to share with you. Now, there are a couple companies that I've seen that do something that is unique, but it is nothing like revenue sharing. So first of all, Keller Williams. Keller Williams is, I have a lot of respect for Keller Williams, and they have grown a huge organization around the world. And one of the reasons that their organization grew so quickly over the years is because they offered agents profit sharing. Now, let me draw the distinction real quick between profit sharing and revenue sharing. Profit sharing is you only get to participate in the profits of that office if the office is profitable. So a lot of agents were like, holy crap, I can list and sell properties and participate in profit sharing. I'm going to join Keller Williams. The problem with that business model is that a lot of the offices weren't profitable. And so what agents were actually earning from profit sharing at most offices around the country at Keller Williams is minuscule at best. We have agents in our organization, agents, a great example, the gentleman who I joined through 2 months ago earned $18,000 in revenue share in 1 month, $18,000, okay? He was previously at Keller Williams where the most he earned in profit share in a year was $900. Let's do the math. $900. Now, $900 is better than most brokerages out there that don't give you anything. You know, if you introduce another agent at most independent brokerages, they might give you a Starbucks gift card, or they might waive your desk fees for the month, which might be equivalent of $200 or something of that nature. When you look at what you're about to see, many of you will go, holy cow, I need to get licensed, or holy cow, I'm going to move my license to eXp, because even if I just do a little bit of this over the course of the next couple of years, and I really just focus on my investment business, or I just focus on my listing business, I'll benefit. Now, some of you may say, I don't want to participate this. This doesn't really interest me at all, but I'm going to join eXp because I have better training, better tools, and I can accumulate stock. And so we have some people who have joined us, and I'm not really interested in revenue sharing. We have a lot of people who have joined us and said, I want you to help me with this because this is going to change the course of my family's financial future. And so that's what Randy, Chris, Brian, and I are all dedicated to doing because our interests are aligned with you. Let me share with you what this looks like. I'm gonna do my best to explain this simply. You're probably going to have more questions, And that's why you should go to REIClub.com/EXP, fill out the form and get more information. So let me explain the commission split to start. So I'm going to be very basic. When you join eXp Realty, you start out on an 80-20 split. Now, if you're a new agent, I'm going to encourage you to elect to participate in the mentoring program. The mentoring program for new agents, you are on a 60-40 split because you have a mentor who's participating and helping you with those first 3 transactions. Now, most experienced agents, you don't necessarily need to go through the mentor program, so you'll be on an 80-20 split. Now, the 80-20 split goes to 100% commission once you've generated $80,000 in commissions, which means you would have earned $64,000 in commissions, and you would have paid eXp corporate 16 grand. Okay. Now that 16 grand gets divvied up through revenue sharing. So eXp corporate doesn't say, hey, we're going to keep all of this 16 grand. What they do is they say, we're going to take part of this 16 grand and we're going to share it back with agents in our organization through revenue sharing. So they have a revenue sharing program for this 16 grand. What happens though is you have now officially capped. So you may have done this after a couple months at eXp Realty, and then the rest of the year, you're at 100% commission. Well, that's really nice. First of all, you start out on a great commission split. When we approached our agents, we had some agents on a 90-10 split, and they recast their numbers. I'll give you an example. I'm not going to go through every single number here, but we had an agent who was on a 90-10 split, and we took her commission in 2019 where she earned $211,000, and we said, you got paid $189,000. Well, had you been at eXp Realty at an 80-20 split, you would have then capped where you would have gone to 100% commission. You would have actually earned $193,000, and you would have accumulated stock on top of it, and you would participate in revenue sharing. She's like, holy cow, I'm in. I get all the training tools. And she was at a 90-10 split at our brokerage. Like I said, if you're at a discounted brokerage, it doesn't make sense, folks. When you talk about stock and when you talk about revenue sharing, it makes no sense to be at a discounted brokerage where you're paying a transaction fee because you don't participate in stock. You don't participate in revenue sharing. So let me explain what revenue share is. There's 7 tiers. Now, how this was created, it was modeled after Keller Williams. Glenn Sanford was at Keller Williams for a long time, and he goes, I like the 7 tiers. The problem at Keller Williams is it's based on profit share. And so this is based on revenue sharing. This is top line revenue. So every dollar in commission that is paid to eXp corporate is now part of the revenue sharing program. This isn't after expenses are taken out like profit sharing. So this is top line top line revenues generated from real estate transactions. So let me give you some examples because you're looking at all these tiers. First thing I want to share with you is all of these tiers add up to 16 grand. So if an agent caps at 16 grand, this is how the money is allocated back to agents. Let me break this down simply. I'm going to be real simple here. Let's just look at the first tier. Let's see how this works. Let's say you decide to hang your license at eXp Realty. And you say, you know what, there's a bunch of people at my current brokerage who I think might be interested in eXp Realty. So I'm going to introduce a few of them to eXp Realty. Well, if one of those agents joins eXp Realty, you are now getting paid on that agent's production for life. As long as they are at eXp Realty, you are getting paid on their transactions every single year. And so now, in essence, it's like being a broker, getting an override without having to do all the work, because that person is now part of your organization. And what we do is we provide training and tools and webinars and videos to help you introduce agents to eXp Realty. So if you want to participate, we've built an entire platform and a training program and provide assistance with agents who want to grow their revenue share on a monthly basis. So let me break this down. Let's make it simple. there's an agent at your office who you introduce, or an agent in your local area, or you have a sister who lives in North Dakota or Tampa, Florida, or Dallas, Texas, or a cousin who has their license, or a friend you meet at a conference, or someone you meet online who has anybody who has their license in any of the 50 states or multiple countries. We have agents in Mexico doing this. I mean, it's amazing. Doesn't matter where this agent is. You introduce them to the company, and they're like, wow, I just watched a webinar like you're watching right now. They're like, I'm in. You're now getting paid on their transactions every single year. So when they list and sell, let's say next week, one of their deals closes. You didn't do any of the work. You didn't have to go out there and meet with the listing agent, the buyer, show the house. They earned a $15,000 commission. You now get an override, a 3.5% override, which equates to $525 check you earned passively for doing nothing on that agent's production. They do that again next week, the following month, you get another check. You don't get these checks at other brokerages because you don't have a revenue sharing program. We didn't have a revenue sharing program at Realty National. We would have loved to, but we didn't have any money to share. Most of the agents were earning most. We had overhead. We had traditional brick and mortar lease. We had everything that was eating up that revenue. And so even if we wanted to, so if you walked into your broker tomorrow and said, hey, I'd like to participate in revenue sharing, even if they wanted to, they wouldn't have the revenue to actually share it back with you. Well, this keeps going. If you bring in a top producing agent, holy cow, that is like owning a 8-unit apartment building for you passively without having to do any of the work. Let me give you an example. You bring in one agent on an individual year, you can earn up to $2,800 on that agent's production. And then the next year it resets. You can earn up to $2,800 again. I'll give you an example. I have single family homes where I earn about $2,800 in positive cash flow at the end of the year. Positive cash flow take home. But I had to put a $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 down payment to buy that single family rental property. All you have to do is send an email to an agent. You attract them. They watch a webinar just like this that I've already created for you. So we have videos, webinars that you can email out to agents to make it very easy. That's why you want to join our organization. We've already designed these tools to attract agents. Well, you bring in one agent, that's like a new single family rental property coming your way. You can earn $2,800. But a lot of people are going to go, well, I'm not just going to introduce one person. What if I introduce 5 people that I knew over the course of a year? Well, now you're earning $14,000 a month or annually on a passive income basis. You introduce 10 people, that's $28,000 in passive income. Folks, that's like having 10 rental properties, single family rental properties in your portfolio. Think about that for a second. You didn't have to earn a down payment to buy each one of these individual assets. You introduced agents simply by doing what we as investors do. What I love about eXp is we have all these people who have joined locally who are now more loyal to us as agents, who are now more likely to bring us investment transactions. We love being part of eXp because when somebody joins your organization, you're more likely to get investment deals from them in the future. The reason we started a brokerage was so those agents, through their loyalty, would bring us investment transactions. And so you have the power to build an organization in your area where you have 5, 6, 7 agents feeding you investment transactions simply because you introduced them to eXp and you're getting paid overrides on their production. Now you might say to yourself, that's just tier 1, Than. What about the other 6 tiers? How does that work? Well, for those of you who had that thought, I'm going to share with you how this works right now. And this is where it gets mind-boggling. And this is what kept me up at night because I started doing the math. And I was like, holy cow, this company's growing like wildfire. Introducing it to agents, it sells itself. Once agents see the model, they're like, why would I hang my license at Keller Williams? Why would I be at Compass? Why would I be at Sotheby's? I don't get When I introduced it to top producing agents, new agents are like, why would I be anywhere else? And I'm going to give you an example. Let's say for over the course of the next 2 years, you went out there and introduced 3 agents each year for the next 2 years. So you introduced 6 agents. That's 1 agent every 4 months. We talk to multiple agents every single day as an investor. Even if you're a new investor, you're going to be talking to agents at least once a week. You have a pool of people you're going to be talking to. So they're there. You're going to have those conversations. So to introduce 6 people over the course of the 2 years doesn't take a lot of effort, in my opinion. Well, let's say those 6 agents each decide to introduce 1 agent at their brokerage that they were previously at. Well, in essence, you would have had 12 people in your organization, 6 who you directly introduced, and 6 who were introduced by agents that you introduced. And what that looks like is you have an organization essentially of 12 people. Well, if those 12 agents cap, this is what your annual passive income looks like, $36,000 a year. And on top of that, you accumulate stock. Well, folks, $36,000 a year, to give you equivalent, if you were to go out there and create passive income, you would have to earn $900,000 and then invest it at 4% annual to earn $36,000 a year passively. So that's what it would take to earn $36,000 passively. You would have to earn $900,000 through your investment efforts. But why not do both? Why not go out there and be an investor, at the same time hang your license? I spend the majority of my time as an investor, but I do dedicate about 1 day a week to eXp. And a lot of times it's simply making introductions to eXp, which helps us grow our revenue share. And that's what a lot of our investor agents are doing right now who are part of our organization. I'm going to give you one more example. Let's say over the course of 5 years now, so this is a little longer time horizon, you introduce 2 agents. That's 1 agent every 6 months for the next 5 years. That's a total of 10 agents that you introduced in a 5-year time horizon. Not an unrealistic, in my opinion, effort. This is not something you have to do full time to get 10 agents over 5 years. Well, let's say those agents that you introduced, those 10 agents did exactly the same thing that you did over 5 years. They introduced 2 agents. If those agents cap, what this looks like is you would have 10 agents who you directly referred, and those 10 introduced 10. That's 100 agents. That means you have 110 agents in your organization you're earning overrides on. And if they cap, that is $348,000 a year passively. Folks, there's very few people in this country who earn $348,000 a year in passive income. The reason we call this a passive income webinar, and it was marketed as a passive income webinar, this can be life-changing for a lot of people. We have agents right now that are doing on a small scale. We have agents that are doing on a much more significant scale. Let's say, though, the agents in your organization don't cap. Let's say they're just half cappers. We take 348,000 divided by 2, that's 162,000 a year. What if we divided that in? What if they're quarter cappers and you had $81,000 a year in passive income? What would that do for someone's life? What choices could they make? How could they spend their time? Why would anybody, when I looked at this, I said, why would anybody be at any other brokerage? You're just putting yourself, you have the ability to put yourself in the driver's seat of your life financially. Put yourself and your family in the best position to succeed financially. And that's through eXp Realty. I know that. I believe it. I've seen our organization. And I love what this company has allowed us to do. And I love, and I know you will have such a positive experience because from a financial standpoint, it just gives you the opportunity to win. To give you an equivalent, $348,000 a year, you'd have to earn $8.7 million annually. Sorry, you'd have to earn $8.7 million to create a $348,000 a year passive income. Most people don't earn that in their lifetime. Now, let me share with you how we're going to help you. And I want to explain this very quickly because many of you are going, okay, I want more information at the very least. And to get more information, go to REIClub.com/EXP. But I want to explain some details very quickly about how this program works and how we're going to help you directly. And as I do, many of you are going to say, I need to go to REIClub.com/EXP and fill it out, and at least get some more information emailed to me or have a conversation with Than, Brian, or Randy about eXp. So let me share with you some of the brass tacks, some of the logistics that are important. I think it's important to share. Now, eXp has to be able to generate revenue in some way to run their organization, invest in the training platform that they have, invest in the tools. And so they do this with some very reasonable introductory fees and monthly fees that they charge to hang your license there. So that's how this company earns revenue. This is also how they help you become a better agent. This is how they provide training. This is how they license technology that you get access to simply by hanging your license at eXp Realty. Now, of course, nothing is free. There's no such thing. And if something was free, I'd be very wary of it because it probably wouldn't be that good. However, it's very reasonable. I don't think anybody's looking for a handout or a free lunch here. I think what people want is something that's going to help them succeed financially. So the first thing is you don't have to pay any desk fees, no royalty fees or franchise fees. If you hang your license somewhere else, you're probably used to these types of fees, which eat away at your commission. Now, there's a very small introductory $149 startup fee. And when you join, you start at an 80-20 split, and then you move to 100% commission when you cap. The cap is very reasonable. You want a low cap. Any brokerage you're at, you want to, first of all, you want to have a cap. That's a good thing. And then you want to have a low cap, which is exactly what eXp has. Now, their monthly fees, what that covers is all the technology you get access to and all the training that you have instant access to. So this is like joining a coaching program for agents. This is like joining a mastermind program in one, plus it gives you technology, and it's only $85 a month. Folks, when it comes to what you have the ability to accumulate in stock, revenue sharing, the commission splits, having your license and what you can earn, that is a very, very, very small monthly fee. Now, there is a per transaction fee of $25 and a $40 risk management fee, which caps at $500. For example, most agents or most brokers will pay about $1,500 to $2,000 in E&O a year. The most you pay is $500, and that's $40. So a lot of people go, gosh, I'm going to save on my E&O. I'm going to save on my technology fees because I can cancel some of the services that I'm using. And I don't have to pay $85 a month. I'm in, right, to be part of eXp. So that's what allows the company to run its business. And then what you have the ability to do is accumulate stock and revenue sharing. Now, what we do, and the reason I call eXp the future, is their business model is just superior. That's why every top producer in every major market around the country has joined eXp or is considering joining eXp right now. That's why we joined within a week of looking at this opportunity. We're like, we're in. We're moving it over. We're going to go present this to our agents. All of our agents joined us, which, I mean, that speaks volumes. They could have gone anywhere. They could have gone anywhere, and they all decided to join eXp Realty. This is why it's the fastest growing company in brokerage in history. And I think it's also reflective of what's happening with the stock price, which is an amazing thing. This is why it's being called the Amazon of real estate. Now, when you go to REIClub.com/EXP, if you do move your license and join our organization, what we have is we have an organization of agents and investors who are associated with our company. So you are being associated with REI and our company. The beautiful thing about that is what we've done, and we do two things for our agents in our organization. The first thing we do is we do training. Twice a month, Randy and Brian, who have been in real estate forever and who are very successful agents and investors, we do training specifically for agents who are also investors twice a month. That's only if you join our organization. And this is on everything from how to run a successful real estate investment business to how to generate more leads, to who to hire, how to hire them, what to pay, to how to get more listings, to how to buy more investment properties. So this is only when you're part of our organization. So that's why you want to join our organization as opposed to any other agent you may have talked to locally about it. But on top of that, we also do twice a month referral training for people who want to grow their revenue sharing. And we have team members and tools designed. So we've designed webinars that are specifically for you to help you introduce eXp to agents. So you have marketing materials, emails, webinars. Now, a lot of times people are saying, well, gosh, how am I going to get an agent's attention in my area? Well, being part of our organization, you have the ability to leverage my credibility. I've bought $1.4 billion of investment properties. There's not an agent out there who you're going to talk to who has done that, who has that type of track record. And so you'll get their attention when you say, hey, somebody in my organization who I decided to join eXp with, has accumulated $1.4 billion of real estate. And when he looked at eXp, he was blown away, and he did a video about why he joined eXp. I can send you an email if you'd like to get more information and get introduced to this company and this gentleman who I'm associated with. What you're doing is you're getting someone's attention by leveraging my credibility. And that gets your foot in the door, even with agents you don't know. And then on top of that, Chris and Randy and Brian, what they do is they have set aside time each and every week to jump on the phone with agents that you introduce the company to, because they'll have questions and you might not be ready quite yet to answer those questions. Chris and Randy are very successful agents, investors who have introduced this company to hundreds of agents who have joined the company. Let them do some of the heavy lifting for you. Other agents whom you may have talked to in your local area about eXp are not going to set aside time to do this. And so it gives you tools. Plus, we've created an entire training platform to help you build your revenue sharing, filled with trainings, videos, emails, marketing materials, processes of how to do this. And this is what you get access to for free simply by joining eXp Realty through our organization. We have videos, webinars just like this already done that you can email out. And on top of that, Randy and Brian do a training twice a month for our people in our organization. So what I'm going to do is, Randy, are you there? I want to share your perspective of having run an independent brokerage and what your experience has been like at eXp Realty since you joined, because obviously, you list and sell properties, you run a very successful agent business, you're also an investor. Share from your perspective what your experience has been.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks for everybody staying with us. I see a lot of you are with us still, so congratulations. But I agree, this is an incredible opportunity, and I'm just blessed, honestly, that to be in this position now, which I quite frankly didn't think that Than and I were ever going to find a company that will align with us as good as it does as investors and agents, right? And me being the owner, one of the owners with Than of the brokerage and running the day-to-day, I can tell you, like Than mentioned earlier, it was a pain in my butt to a pretty massive degree to keep track of the compliance, the commission disbursements, the latest tools that the agents wanted. I mean, the list goes on and on, what's required by an owner broker, and rightfully so. So, I took that role on while I was the owner. But since we made this move, we basically put all of those responsibilities on eXp because they are now our broker and their tools are so much better than anything that we could have done with our small brokerage. So my time, honestly, is spent just pouring into people. I just pour into our community of agents and investors that we now have built of over 300 across the nation and growing. every single week. And then I just share from my perspective of real transactions that I'm still working on with other investors, with other clients, and just really just bring that into our community. And really, my goal is to continue to help our community of investors to leverage their license, to increase their investing business, but then turn that investing activity to retail business as well, but not be a technician in either of those companies. That's what we are good at, Than, and you've proven that with Fortune Builders. We've done it with CT Homes, and we've done it with Realty National as well. But now with eXp, I mean, sky's the limit. And I'll share this one fact, because Than, I just looked at my portfolio too. Even if you just don't even talk about the revenue share, I'm going to leave my revenue share outside of this example. I looked at the agent equity program that I participate in from every transaction that I do when I work with a client, right? If it's a regular client or an investor client that I work with, I participate in the 10%, where in the 5% of my commission is being used to buy stock at 10% discount. It happens automatically. I don't have to think about it, right? And then it just shows up in my portfolio a month later. And I just looked, the value of that alone, just that agent equity program, is right now at $18,000. It paid back everything already that I've paid to eXp in the $16,000, which I paid already because I capped. So I literally I made 100% commission this whole year already. Like, I got my money back in just the agent equity. I'm not even talking about revenue share. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I couldn't create this on my own, and I'm just blessed. So that's my perspective. I'm excited to share this with you guys. So like Than said, just have a conversation with me, have a conversation with Brian. We'll just show you the real thing of how this works. There's no secret here. It's quite incredible. You'll be amazed once I show you what it's like.
The other great thing, think of Randy and Brian as two team members that you've now hired that you don't have to pay. Because what Randy does and what Brian does every week is, when you join our organization and you introduce eXp to another agent in your area, that agent's going to have questions. And so what people in our organization do is they text and they email Brian and they say, hey, are you available on Thursday or Friday? Jump on a call with Susie. Susie's a agent at Keller Williams, and she's thinking about coming over. And I sent her an email, and she watched Than's video, and she's pretty much, interested, but has more specific questions. And Randy sets up three-way calls. Brian sets up three-way calls with those agents and brings them over. That's like having somebody essentially doing the selling and recruiting for you. And I don't want to downplay it, because they've done it with hundreds of people already. So this is not new to them. Brian is not new to real estate. I don't know if Brian can unmute himself. Brian's been with a couple different companies over, I think, 30 plus years. I mean, talk about a seasoned agent, talk about a seasoned investor who knows everything there is to know about real estate. But Brian, why don't you share your experience at eXp and your thoughts? Because many of you will talk with Brian, and Brian will be somebody who will mentor you in many ways and answer questions. Same with Randy. They're team members, they're assets, and they tap into our experience as well. I have meetings with them every week, and we're buying, on average somewhere about $200 to $300 million of real estate a year. So I think that's significant enough to say you're part of a pretty good network now. But Brian, why don't you unmute yourself and share your experience?
Well, thank you, Than. And you covered it all tonight. So really, I can sum it up pretty quickly. Prior to meeting you and Randy and JD and the team, I was a sales manager at Berkshire Hathaway, and never did Warren Buffett walk into my office and hand me some stock and say, "Good job, buddy." That just didn't happen. I trained hundreds and hundreds of agents for him, and they didn't share revenue with me either. I had a good split. I had a nice office, but I didn't have any ownership feeling. And I can tell you, if you're a new agent listening today, or if you've been around for a while like I have, I can sum this up real quickly. It's like winning the lottery. because like Randy shared, money just keeps coming to you as you do what you have a passion for, and that's real estate. So if you're listening today, I just want to encourage you to jump on that REIClub.com /EXP, fill that out, and then really just have a conversation with us, because I could talk about this for hours with you and answer any additional questions and explain to you really, as an agent for 35 plus years, like Than said, with RE/MAX, with Berkshire Hathaway, with Better Homes and Gardens and GMAC, my brokers changed their alliances, but I never did. I stayed with 3 brokers over those 35 years, and they kept changing their alliance because they were having a tough time as a broker with the broken brick and mortar model that Dan was pointing out. And my loyalty is now to my family, and it's not to my broker. And this company, feeling like an owner, like Randy was saying, there's not a better opportunity out there, and I don't think there ever will be another one to come along quite like this one. And so I'm really happy that we did this back when we did. It was prior to COVID. I think COVID was just the where it is today, and it's proven why we need this kind of a model to work from home and be successful. So give us a chance to just sit and unpack this with you, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, like we all are.
I agree. For those of you who are interested, all you have to do is go to REIClub.com /EXP, and like I said, Randy and Brian, that's who you'll most likely be talking to. I talk to people every once in a while as well. And they're also great team members. I mean, they're the best of the best. I've worked with them for over a decade and love them to death. And more importantly, our organization loves them because, they become very, very valuable team members who are very experienced and very knowledgeable and are essentially helping train you and leverage their time and effort from a introduction standpoint to other agents in your area. So Frank, thank you so much for having me. I know it went a little bit longer than we typically go, but hopefully we delivered a lot of insight as to how people can leverage this opportunity.
Absolutely, man. I'm actually standing now. I had to stand up in the middle. I was like, this is getting pretty good. If you guys have a standing desk, I think that's one of the benefits. One thing I just wanted to bring some attention to, Dan, is first of all, great job, man. This is really, really cool. When I first heard about eXp, it was through my own networks of friends who are agents. So you guys are definitely making some waves in that space. But just especially in the last year, I'm sure you've paid very close attention as you kept on talking about stock prices, and that's something that I was really passionate about in the last year. In no way am I a stock person at all. I'm a very safe type of investment type of person, but there are a few stocks last year that really kind of had exponential growth, right? Peloton being one, Zoom being another, and now eXp. I was like just looking at the stock prices and exactly what you were saying. Very similar trends. And for me, it's like I invested in all of these companies, by the way, and that was great. But what I noticed is that they fulfilled a very specific need in a very specific niche, right? Home gym, online meetings, face-to-face, and then eXp, which you guys, like you said, when you said disruption, I was like, what do you mean? How are y'all disrupting? And it makes complete sense now why this is such an attractive model, why we're seeing the type of growth you guys are seeing as a public traded company, and the numbers, guys, just simply don't lie at that type of level, right? So one of the things, like, thank you so much for that transparency, Than. This is definitely exciting. If you guys are here, you have your license. This is an audience that we typically don't get to service on a yearly basis. We're more of the investor side. So I got really excited when Than's like, hey, I got something for your agents. You guys have agents on your list. I was like, absolutely.
The other thing, Frank, is if you're not licensed, absolutely 100% go to REIClub.com /EXP, because what we do, what Randy and Brian do is they'll email you where you can go online or in person to get your real estate license in your individual state. I don't know I think we have a discount code for the majority of states for when you do it, but also many of you may get licensed the next 3-4 months and then have the ability to join eXp at that point once you're licensed. So we have a lot of people who watch this webinar who aren't licensed and go, you know what, I'm gonna join. It might be 3-4 months from now, but still fill out the form, because what we'll do is we'll follow up with you once you get your license, And we'll send you that information about how to get licensed with that discount code. And that gets you in our, essentially into our email ecosystem for joining in the future. And that will really help you.
Thanks for mentioning. Yeah, absolutely, guys. So REIClub.com/EXP. Randy, thanks for being here. I got to meet Randy back at a mastermind last year, and he's just a phenomenal guy. I typically love doing business with someone I can have a beer with, and that's exactly what Randy was able to do. Down to earth. I think I was seeing him in the virtual world one day, and I was like, I own an Oculus, and I was like, this is very similar. And it's really cool when you were saying how their technology is being licensed and how at the forefront of innovation. I was like, holy crap, this is really cool, especially as we all shift into this whole new virtual model. It's here to stay, and it's cool that you guys have already done that with eXp and kind of introducing that to agents. So, man, a lot of cool things we talked about today, Than. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. Randy, Brian, thank you guys as well. I'm excited for you guys to get involved with eXp, especially if you realize what you don't do or don't. Definitely fill out that form, get into their system, get into their ecosystem, and you're going to get really kind of brought into kind of the excitement that they've been seeing over the past few months. So we had a question from John. Will there be no, this is live. There is no replay. That's why we really wanted you guys to be here today. You know, reward people who take action, who show up on time. This is live. I know it's being recorded. I don't know if we're going to be able to release this or not, but I'll talk to Than about that later. Let's see what we
fill out the form, because we can always, if you go to REIClub.com/EXP, we'll figure out a way to get you a replay if it is recorded. I don't know if
okay, yeah, Randy says yeah. So yeah, we have it recorded, so we'll just put it up on a page and let you guys know once it's up. Yeah. Thank you for that. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate that, man. Okay. Well, you know, awesome. With that, was there any final words that you would like to leave our club audience with? I know these guys were, you know, stuck it through for 2 hours. Amazing. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. But yeah, any kind of final parting words before we
for joining us. Many of you I know will fill out the form and join eXp in the next couple weeks or in the next couple months, or just want more information. But either way, we're always looking to serve investor agents out there who are looking to grow their business and take it to the next level. So thanks for having us, Frank, and we really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys so much. We will talk to you guys soon. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to reach out to Than and this team at REIClub.com/EXP. Just fill out the form. They'll reach out to you and take great care of you. Okay. All right. This is Frank Chen with REIClub and Than Merrill. We will talk to you guys later. Signing off now. Take care, guys. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.